What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Today you guys are going to be talking about, is trucking still worth it in 2026? I'm not going to be talking about owner operators. I'm just going to be talking about trucking as like company drivers and just in a whole. I'll make a separate owner operator video if that's what y'all want. But is trucking worth it? I know a lot of people are just casual viewers, you know, maybe just interested in the trucking industry and things like that. And I know a lot of people who are looking into getting in the trucking industry, and I have a few people asking me like, is trucking still worth it? So we're gonna be getting into lifestyle, money, and, you know, stress and things of that nature in this video, so hit that like button. So the reason why most people get into trucking, you guys, of course, a lot of people, y'all think that truckers make a lot of money, and we do make good money. Even company drivers make good sustainable, you know, living nowadays. I mean, it's not as good as probably the early 2000s trucking or the 90s trucking, because I heard those guys back then was making a lot of money back in the day. But the thing about it is, everything was cheaper back in the day. So you making $50,000 as a company, $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 as a company driver back in the day, you know what I'm saying? Then you go into the grocery store and stuff, and everything was $3, $4, $5 cheaper back in the day. So that made a huge difference. So you gotta factor that in when you're thinking about getting into trucking, because things have went up. Produce, everything, things like that have went up. So it makes it kind of when truck drivers are kind of still making around the same money as the guys back in the day. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of the old heads like to say, back in the day we was making a whole bunch of money, but it kind of weighs itself out if you think about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, things have went up, but the pay is like barely inching up, maybe a little bit. Most entry-level drivers are making right now between 50 to 65K. Depends on what, if you're doing, let's say, flatbed, dry van, reefer. I think reefer and flatbed are around the same when it comes to, you know, rate per miles and stuff like that. Maybe flatbed maybe a little bit more, but dry van is gonna probably be your lowest. If you're going to a place like Snyder or, you know, different places, you probably won't get paid as much as if you go to, like, let's say Creek Carrier or Schaefer. They who does reefer, and they also do, Creek does dry van, but if you go to Schaefer, who does reefer. But you gotta have experience and stuff like that as well. But most entry-level drivers, I consider entry-level like up to a year, maybe a year and a half. You're still learning a lot. But a lot of companies are still paying around 50 to, you know, 65 for an entry-level driver, which is actually good money if you really think about it. If you're fresh out of, you know, let's say you just turned 21, you're still you've been working little warehouse jobs, trying to figure out, you know, what you want to do. You know, you don't know what to do. That's my case. I was lost. I didn't know what I wanted to do, and I took the chance and I went to trucking school, paid, you know, what I paid, and then came out making 50 to 65K. You know, that's not bad for a 21-year-old just starting their life out. It's not bad. And if you're not married, or if your wife is chill, your girlfriend or wife is chill about it, and you know you ain't got kid problems and stuff like that, I'm just saying, trucking probably would be a good ideal for you. But realistically, when you start getting them endorsements, you guys, your tanker, your hazmat, you know, your doubles, triples, even all that good stuff, now you're gonna be, as a company driver, you're gonna be making around 70 to 90, and some guys even push 100K. You know what I'm saying? So trucking is in 2026, trucking is still, in my opinion, you know, I'm not gonna give my answer just yet, but in my opinion, it's still a growing thing. You know what I'm saying? It's still something that you can make a decent living off of. You know what I'm saying? Overall, we'll get to that, but it's still 70 to 90, and then you pair that with, you know, a spouse's income, and y'all bringing in 150 to, you know what I'm saying, I don't know what your spouse would be doing, but 70 to 90, but that's like after a few years though, you guys, you're making 90 is after a few years. And some guys, you know, I heard some guys say it took them 6, 7, 8 years to get to 90. So it just depends on who you are, how ambitious you are about, you know, getting your certifications and continue to grow. It really just depends on you. When I say it depends on you, like, that's literally the whole name of this game is based off you guys, how hard you want to work. Long hours, long hours. You're gonna be driving. It just depends on how you manage your schedule, but at least 8 to 9 hours a day. Sometimes it depends on what your load is doing. You're gonna have to max out that 11. You know what I'm saying? It just depends. It's a lot of learning as well. You have to learn your logbook. If you want to do split sleeper, you got to learn that, you know, route trip planning and stuff like that. It's not rocket science, but it's not the easiest thing ever. Got to be used to being away from family. So if you know, love the very family oriented person, it's going to be very, very, very hard to get out here. Like if you're used to going home every day, seeing the kids, seeing your spouse and stuff like that, you ain't going to be able to do that unless they want to come with you. You know what I'm saying? And then as a company driver, you got to factor in, does my company insurance cover my kids? They may cover your spouse, but they may not cover kids. So that's another curve that you may have to go with, and you may have to shop around for different companies that will allow that. Now, some companies only allow you to bring kids during the summertime. And I believe that was Schaefer that I worked for. They only allowed to bring kids during the summertime. So a lot of people didn't like that. It was either Schaefer or Prime, I can't remember. A lot of people didn't like that, but you know what I'm saying? It's the name of the game. You don't get to choose, you know what I'm saying, when you're a company driver. You're gonna be independent, so you pretty much gonna get up it's like literally, y'all, like you're independent when you work in a 9 to 5, but like you're so independent, you guys, you can wake up whenever you need to, as long as you get it there at the appointment time, you can do whatever you want. Pretty much, you know what I'm saying? If you want to veer off 20-30 miles to go check out the Grand Canyon or go check out this, that, and the third, that's fine. Just as long as you get get it there on time, you're gonna be good. So you got, if you're a very independent person, it'll work out good for you. You don't have no boss, you know, over you, you know what I'm saying? Really, you just got your driver manager when you're a company driver, but they be mostly chill as long as you keep them updated on things. You just keep them updated, they ain't gonna really be just like, really just bothering you. I never had one that was too overbearing to the point where I just like, hey, I need another driver manager. Now I had some with some attitudes, but I never had some that was just like, you know what I'm saying, just weird. Another pro is you get to see the country. Me and Alicia, we done been to all the states. You know, we took a vacation to Hawaii, off trucking money. So we took a vacation to Hawaii. We done seen 49 states. The only state we ain't seen is Alaska. That is a goal. Whether I go in the truck or outside the truck, that is a goal, you guys. So you get to see the country, you get to be independent, and you don't really have no boss, you know what I'm saying? Not really, just a driver manager, like I said. And one of the biggest pros is that when you're a company driver, you're gonna always have a stable check. That's probably the biggest pro. You're gonna always have a stable check, you guys. You ain't gonna be wondering, oh, I don't know if I'm you know, gonna be able to find a load to do this, that, and the third. As an owner operator, that's how you operate. You like, oh man, is this gonna be a good area, you know what I'm saying? And then you have a tire blowout. Now you're down $700 because you gotta replace a tire and stuff like that, you guys. But with a company, you know, you have a tire blowout, they handle all that stuff. You still gonna get your paycheck. Now, pay-wise, it just depends on like I told y'all earlier, it just depends on what company you go to. But normally it just depends. I can't give you a range, you guys, because you know you got day cabs, you got dry van, all that kind of stuff. It's like, it's so many different, it fluctuates so much. I couldn't give y'all a definite weekly pay rate of how much you get paid, weekly paycheck. I can't tell y'all that. So let's talk about the industry in 2026, coming off 2025, or where I believe it's going. My personal opinion, I always feel like companies aren't gonna fail. That's just me. Now, I know a lot of people want to debate me on that, but from what I've seen with these companies, they're pretty much foolproof. When I think it was earlier 2025, freight was all over the place. And I was with, early 2024, freight was all over the place, and I was with Prime Inc. Prime Inc. still was able to keep me rolling through all that. I heard a lot of owner operators when I was with Prime, they're saying like, oh man, I don't know how, find a load. I remember I was in Jacksonville, Florida, doing some laundry, and I was in there talking to some owner operators. And he was like, it was Saturday. He said, I've been sitting here since Thursday trying to find a load. And he said, I can't find nothing that I like to get me out of Jacksonville, Florida. And y'all already know Florida is a hard market to get out of, already. So as a company driver, they can have you deadhead a certain amount and it won't hurt them because you're not running off rate per mile. You know what I'm saying? You're getting paid by cents, you know what I'm saying? And the more miles you run, it's better for you as a company driver. So y'all, I just feel like the industry, I feel like the freight, and you can't really judge the freight market you got. It go up and down based on seasons. That towards the end of the year is gonna be better, you know what I'm saying? But I feel like this is more so owner operator talk, you guys. But company drivers, I feel like, bro, if you go to a company, you're gonna make stable money. I'm gonna put it like that. Stable money if you go to a company. So I wouldn't worry about the money, y'all, if you go to a company. And I mean like worried about missing a check and stuff like that. As long as you're working, you're gonna get some money. You get what I'm saying? You ain't gonna have a whole bunch of downtime. If your truck is really in bad shape, they're gonna get you another truck. They're gonna take care of you. You know what I'm saying? Because you're making them money. So you guys, a lot of people like to talk about automation and thinking about, oh, AI trucks, AI this, AI that. Man, get that out of your head. Right now, I'm telling you, get that out of your head. I don't feel like automation is gonna come until like probably another 8 to 10 years. You know what I'm saying? That gives you plenty of time to prep and prepare. It just doesn't make sense to me, you guys, how a robot can control 80,000 pounds. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be very hard to control 80,000 pounds with a robot. So I don't think about that. I think that it's gonna be a while before that even happens, at least 8 to 10 years, you guys, before Elon them, you know what I'm saying, do their thing on that or something like that. Because I know they was running those Tesla trucks out in like Nevada or somewhere like that. I believe it was out by Reno, Nevada that I seen it, and I haven't seen none for a while, you guys, and I heard they was having issues and stuff like that. So I'm not worried about the automation and stuff like that. So the main thing is, who is trucking actually for? I'm gonna tell you, if you want fast money, you don't want a whole bunch of college debt, you're okay with solitude, and you're okay with trading time for money, I feel like those 4 things are who trucking is for. If you can't handle that, then you shouldn't be in trucking, in my opinion. Trucking is a thing where it's gonna really show you who you are. It's gonna really show you who you are. If you're a lazy person, it's gonna show you. If you're a hard-working person, it's gonna show you. If you're a nasty person, it's gonna show you. If you're a clean person, it's gonna show you. And I mean that because a lot of drivers, y'all already know. I'm not gonna say it, but anyways, y'all know. So if those 4 things align with you, then trucking might be for you. Even if 3 of those 4 things align with you, guys, trucking is probably for you. Trucking is not for you if you can't manage stress easily, you expect easy money, you hate driving, and you want to be home every night. You ain't gonna be home every night, you guys. You're not gonna get this money easy. You gonna have to grind. You gonna have to roll. If the wheels ain't turning, you ain't making no money. So really think about it, you guys. You gotta really dig into it, because you don't want to go spend $5,000. I don't know how much it is now, but I paid around $5 or $6 for my CDL training. And you don't want to go spend that money and then look back and be like, man, I can't do this, or I don't want to, do this. This isn't what I expected. And a lot of people do that, you guys. So I don't want y'all to go down that track of spending 5 to 10 grand. It just depends on where you go to get a CDL training, and it ain't for you. You really gotta grind. You really gotta have your mind made up when you go to that school. So final verdict, it just depends on you. So final verdict, you guys, is trucking going to be working in 2026? I'm going to say it just depends on you. To me, it is going to be working in 2026, but it all just depends on you and your work ethic and your grind. A lot of people ain't got the same, work ethic and grind, so I can't say specifically, but I think it will be worth it for a lot of hard-working and strong-minded people. You know what I'm saying? Shoot for the stars and land on the moon. You get what I'm saying? That's how I live my life. So I do feel like trucking is worth it if you're a person who aligns with the things that I just listed out in this video. But yeah, hit that like button, subscribe. I'll see y'all in the next one.